Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of News You Can Use Rebooted. I'm Thera Martin, and I'm glad to be here with you today for this edition of News You Can Use. In our first segment, we're going to be talking with Reverend James Buck. He is the pastor of the Grace Baptist Church of Germantown. And then when we turn the page on the program, we're going to talk with Reverend William Rocky Brown. And he's based out of the city of Chester, and he's operating a wonderful program called Harambee Mya Child. And he's in a couple of, or more than a couple of, the charter schools in the Chester area. So we'll hear both of their stories right after this. Here we go with our program. Glad to have you with us for this edition of News You Can Use Rebooted. Now, I call it Rebooted simply because I had the wonderful opportunity of hosting a show here at LaSalle TV some years ago, and the executive producer, Professor Tanya Ellis, invited me to come back again. So I am glad to be here, and today we want to shine the spotlight on Reverend James Buck. How are you?
Nice, Thera. Thank you for inviting me to the show. We appreciate it.
Let me do my confession. I know you're not Catholic, you're a Baptist preacher, but I got to give my Catholic confession. I drive by your church almost every day, and I think of you.
Wow.
And then I see, I'm always looking, and depending on what time of day I'm coming, the gate may be up or not, and I always wonder, is he in there? I'd love to come and say hi, but I haven't stopped in yet, so that's my loss. Maybe your gain.
You're always welcome to visit us at Grace.
Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you.
How long have you been at Grace now?
It'll be 6 years.
6 years.
It'll be 6 years. We came to Grace in 2017 and have been working since then.
Yeah.
So it'll be 6 years.
Well, little did I know, and maybe little did you know, 6 years ago or so, when I first met you, maybe a little longer than that, I know you were going to become a business owner, the Southern Flames Barbecue LLC. So my boss, Ron Hinton, was looking through the Philadelphia Tribune the other day. He happened to see it before me. And he says, there's an article. James Buck has a restaurant. You got to get him on the air. So you're a pastor and a wonderful, powerful pastor at that, a great preacher and teacher. You know God's word and you know how to teach it.
Thank you.
At the same time, you got some business entrepreneurial skills inside of you.
Yes.
Tell us how Southern Flames Barbecue LLC got started.
Thank you for the question, Thera. A couple of years ago, I was attending Colgate Rochester Crozier Divinity School. And while there, I was doing some dissertation work. My dissertation work started out as how do we make bricks without straw? So I was really doing an analysis, almost like the Philadelphia Negro. And so my professor at the time, who was Dr. Marvin McMickle, but also the president of the college, was looking at my work, and he said, well, no, Reverend Buck, he said, you can do better than this. And so I was scheduled to graduate in 2018. So he pulled my paperwork, and I didn't end up graduating until 2019. And he did it because he felt that I could do more than what I had submitted. So anyway, my dissertation ended up being the reduction of recidivism of African Americans through a community-based program. It was a dissertation that looked at what we consider to be the three most vulnerable areas of our community: troubled teens, disabled veterans, and returning citizens. And so we argued, or I argued successfully in my defense, and I submitted a executive summary to City Council, and City Council gave me a grant. Thus came into fruition Southern Flames Barbecue LLC. And so we hire returning citizens, disabled vets, and troubled teens.
That is amazing.
Yes.
It's amazing. How long has your business been open? Where are you located?
We've been open literally for about 3 years. 2.5 years we've been at our present location, 8221 Germantown Avenue, right up in the Chestnut Hill area. We're right behind the Chestnut Hill Hotel. And so when you go into the market, it looks like Reading Terminal right behind it. You walk in, you'll smell the hickory smoke. That's us smoking in the back, Southern Flames Barbecue.
Now, as I read the article that spotlighted your story in the Philadelphia Tribune, it talked about the fact that you use recipes that have come through the family to make that mouth-watering barbecue that you're serving up well, not every day, but what, like 5 days a week?
We're open on Wednesdays from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. So Wednesday through Sunday, which are the hours of the market and the days of the market, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. But Instead of going out to try other recipes, we just took my mother, my grandmother's recipes on my father's side and on my mother's side, and we used those recipes. And we kind of, what we use, cooking with a conscience. So of course we took out a lot of the fatties, you know, things of that sort. But we cook with absolute flavor. Our meats, we do rubs and we smoke them over hickory and cherry wood. And so you name it, we do it. We even have the fish as well. So it's been a great experience. We're so grateful for the support that people have provided. And once they hear that it's actually a mission, we actually end up with more people coming up to support us.
So now your restaurant is essentially in Chestnut Hill, part of Philadelphia.
Yes.
And Chestnut Hill has embraced your business, I understand.
Yes, yes. Chestnut Hill, it was strange because we started right in front of my house. We only started every Saturday from 12 o'clock p.m. to 7 p.m. And my wife was running the operations. I was doing the delivering. And so what we actually ended up doing is people would come and stand, park right in front of the house, and of course we had all of our paperwork to make sure that we were legit. People would come and stand and order, but we had a person that come from Chestnut Hill, and we did not know it. And so this person came for a month straight. And so on the last term the person came, they was like, can we have a conversation with you?
Wow.
And so after that, they offered us an opportunity to come to Chestnut Hill. Which they shared they had been looking for.
Look at God.
Barbecue for between 7 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I think the only reason I did not know about your restaurant before now is because I had been living in North Carolina for the last almost 3 years.
Yeah.
And so I missed it. But guess what? You're going to see my face up in there before the next 5 days out, because you talk barbecue, you're talking my language.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's been a great ride. We're currently right now working with the city jails to create job opportunities for our brothers and sisters who are returning citizens. And we equally would like to thank Commissioner Carney, who is the commissioner over the Department of Jails. And we equally have a working relationship with the School of Business at Chestnut Hill College, who's actually taken the project to do our marketing and our business plan as a project for students who are completing their undergraduate degree in business. So
you
it's
can't
actually
do anything
turned
but grow this thing, right?
It has actually turned into a community project, which we have desired it to be.
One of the things I learned in the 13 years that I was teaching life skills classes once a week inside a women's prison at 17th and Cambria up until they closed down was that it's very difficult sometimes for returning citizens to get that first opportunity. A lot of people don't trust you. They look at you cross-eyed. The question always will come up in my classes, Miss Thera, should I tell the truth on my application? And all of that. But it takes people like you, it takes owners of businesses like you to sometimes be the one to open that door and to give someone that opportunity.
Our motto, in which we created a nonprofit behind it, but our motto is the taste of a second chance. And so not only do we look at the products that we give or that we serve because we want to see the look on your face, but the motto actually coincides with our mission, giving a person a second chance at something. And so that's what Southern Flame stand for.
That is so exciting. So you're a husband, a pastor, a father, a business owner, a community activist and leader, very involved in so many positive things that are happening in Philadelphia. How do you balance it all?
I come from, and I tell people this story very quickly. I didn't know who Martin Luther King Jr. was for many years as I was growing up in Mississippi, even though he was a Southerner. But I saw my father. My father, who was a civil rights activist, my father, who was out in the streets marching with the NAACP. I think I really came to the understanding of Martin Luther King when I was like in the 6th or 7th grade. But the example was in my home. And this same model, this same concept, is the same thing my dad did in Port Gibson, Mississippi. Teenagers who needed jobs, so he bought into a pizza franchise, hired all of the kids who were going through high school, let them work for a week because he couldn't employ all of them, but let them work for a week so they can at least say they've had an experience or they've had a working experience as they was going through school. So that's the same model that we're using here.
Mississippi, I got to ask you real quick because there was a terrible tornado in Mississippi, and also it impacted part of Alabama, a little piece of Georgia too, I think, over the last number of days.
Absolutely.
Your family, your friends okay?
My family's okay. They've still had some trees that were down, electricity, so they're doing assessments right now. But other than that, they're doing well. Thank you for asking.
We are in holy season, and I would be remiss if I didn't take a couple of minutes before we wrap up this segment to give you an opportunity to invite people to come and enjoy the 7 last words on Good Friday and the Palm Sunday before Good Friday and Easter Sunday. So when can people come worship at Grace?
Well, we thank you for this privilege, Thera. Grace Baptist Church of Germantown. Grace is 130 years old. But we will be having our Palm Sunday service this coming Sunday. Service starts at 10 o'clock, and we're usually out by 11:15, 11:30. And then we have Holy Week coming up. We have our Monday, Thursday service, which is at 7 o'clock in person. We have the 7 Last Words, which is at 12 o'clock p.m. on Friday. And then Holy Saturday, which is a silent Saturday. And then we have Easter Sunday service the following week. Service once again starts at 10 o'clock a.m.
Germantown and Johnson, right there.
25 West Johnson Street, Philadelphia, PA. The church where hope happens here.
I love it. I love it. I know that the congregation of Grace is thrilled, glad, joyful, and everything else that you were the pastor selected to come in and lead that church, historic church that it is. And I imagine that God's going to have you working and using you for many, many, many years to come.
To God, we give God all glory and praise.
Thank you for popping in on us today.
Thank you. We thank you so much.
And much continued success.
Thank you so much.
All righty. That is it for this first portion of our program. But in a moment, we'll come back and we're going to shine the spotlight on a gentleman who used to be known as the Rappin' Rev. And today he's making a difference in a number of charter schools in the city of Chester, Pennsylvania, through a program that he founded, that he wrote, that he put together, Harambee Mya Child. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment.
Unlike other health concerns, mental illness is not always easy to see.
Third line, please.
D-E-P-R-E-S-S-I-O-N.
Mental illness doesn't show up on a scale.
Bipolar?
Sorting out a mental health concern is not something to attempt on your own.
Anxiety. I thought so.
Like many health conditions, help for mental illness takes professional diagnosis and treatment. And the sooner you seek treatment, the better.
Look at that. 6,000 steps and PTSD.
If you or a loved one has a mental health concern, don't go it alone. Find out what to do. For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral, call 1-800-662-HELP. Learn more at samhsa.gov/support.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Extinction is forever. To save America's most iconic and imperiled species from extinction, we must fight for their future. Fight to save the natural lands that wildlife call home. Fight to limit pollution. Fight for smart development. Fight for their future. And fight for ours. For so goes nature, so goes us.
Hello, everybody. We are back with the second portion of our program for today, News You Can Use, Rebooted. And I am so excited to be able to introduce to some and present to others the gentleman that we used to know back in the day as the Rappin' Rev, Reverend Rocky Brown, William Rocky Brown. How are you?
Thera, I'm doing fabulously good. God is good, and we just thank Him for the great things that are happening.
Yes, yes, yes. We appreciate you, and I will always remember you, aside from the fact that you were the Rap and Rev,
Yes.
because you went to visit my mom when she was in the hospital shortly before she passed, and you had
Right.
prayer with her.
I remember
And
that.
thank you for that.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Yes, sir. So let's talk about what you are doing. First of all, you have a published book out. I love that book. That book would have me cracking up, just remembering the things my mother used to say. And so that was a lot of fun. You did that. You're a retired city council person from the city of Chester. And what else have you done? You've done so many wonderful things. You were the...
In fact, today I just signed an agreement to publish 3 books at once. And they're called a trilogy of 3 in 1. And they're a trilogy of books that are motivational. One of them you would read every day, which is centered around the blog that I do on yourspiritualmotivation.com. The second one is you would read once a week, and those are 52 messages that I publish in Scoop. And you know, we both have been writers for Scoop over the years, long time. And the last one is 12 various sermons that I wrote, unique sermons. So we're doing that. But the main thing that I'm excited about is this curriculum that I wrote back in 2015. I was tired. I've been a police chaplain for about 38 years. I got tired of the marching, singing, the praying and crying, and then everything would go back to business as usual.
After somebody's been murdered.
Right. And so I prayed about it, and I was like, Lord, it's got to be something else. And I felt the Spirit led me to understand that children who shoot other children or shoot people are angry. And they have a lack of anger control, anger management. So I went and got certified in anger management. And while I was doing that, I ran across a program called Manage Your Anger. And it was for children. And a light bulb went off and said, how about writing anger management children for urban children who are suffering from what they call intermittent explosive disorder, which is a form of post-traumatic disorder that is created because of the environment that they live in. It's traumatic to hear your mom every now and then say, get away from the window, get out, or get in here because of gunshots, or people in the neighborhood are fighting one another, or because of the drug situation. So all that has created a sense of anger in our children, and they need to be taught a different way. And so Chester Community Charter School, after we wrote the program, gave me an opportunity to pilot the program. We piloted the program back in 2015 with just the 5th graders at the school. And first, let me tell you that Chester Community Charter School is the largest brick and mortar charter school in the state of Pennsylvania. We not only have schools, but we have campuses. We have 1 middle school campus, and then we have 3 elementary schools, 3 elementary campuses, 1 standalone campus in Upland, and 1 standalone campus over in Chester Township. And on that campus, there are 3 schools. And then we have 1 in Chester where there are 4 schools. And so we were able to pilot that program with 5th graders, and it seemed to work. And then they asked me, well, let's try 4th. And then we tried 4th, and finally we settled down for 3rd grade. So 3rd graders get classroom instruction as well as intervention, as well as discipline. Now, basically what we teach is positive attitude development, anger management techniques, and discipline. Positive attitude and the anger techniques are taught in the classroom. But the discipline part is a military-style drill team. And we've been able to use that as a behavioral modification tool because the children love it so much that they realize that in order to be in the drill team, I have to live a certain way. And we've developed a Mya code of conduct as well as a Mya pledge. And it's really successful now, and we're excited about it. And we're hoping that sooner or later we can expand to other schools throughout the country. Really.
That's amazing to, have an idea that God gave you and to bring it to fruition, to be smart enough to put the whole plan together, to write the game plan for what you're doing, Harambee Mya Child.
And then one of the things I forgot is to explain to you, Harambee Mya Child translates to mean pull it together and manage your attitude, child. Right? Mama ain't never say what's wrong with your attitude, or she never said what's wrong with your anger or anything. She always say what's wrong with your attitude. Fix your attitude, child.
Fix it.
Yeah. So it's all about attitude.
Yes. And the young people they're receiving what you're giving them. Because when you first started talking to me back in January about Harambee Mya Child, you were telling me how some of the young people, when you first started working with them, they were angry, they had issues, they had concerns. But through your program and the drill, I think the drill is a large part of maybe making that attitude change happen.
Yes.
You're seeing the results that you were looking for.
Right. And so the curriculum flows like this. They learn in the beginning of the year the pledge and the code of conduct. And then the first lesson that we spend a whole month on is respect. Respect can go a long way. Respect, and also teach the children. Most of the times when guys who are arrested for shooting somebody or something, the first thing they'll tell you, well, they disrespected me. So learning how to respect people is important, but more than that, we're teaching them to respect their parents and at home. We go from respect to teaching manners, social manners, table manners. After that, we begin to talk about feelings and emotions. We go from there to talking about Black history, because Black history helps them develop as their sense of somebodyness and pride. From that, we talk about anger triggers, and then we go from there to anger techniques. One of the nice things that we also teach is cursive writing.
What? What's
Because
that?
when
Anymore.
when you can write your name, that makes you unique to anybody else in the world. And also, writing is a way of expressing your feelings, because really Harambee Mya is cognitive behavioral therapy in the classroom.
So this is your program. You own it. You wrote it. You're the founder.
Copywritten, traded, and all.
Could you envision this program being something that the Chester School District could maybe put it together where more students would have the opportunity to come under Harambee?
Yes, we're at a charter school. I not only envision the Chester community, I envision the Philadelphia School District and other school districts around the country embracing this. And we're prepared to expand it.
Now, do parents have a role in this? Do they have to sign a commitment form that says we're going to, do everything that you need us to do as parents to be supportive, to come and show up when you all have special programs or whatever it is?
No, we haven't. It's really just it's a part of the school curriculum. Once you sign your child up to our school, they become a part of that program as long as they're in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. And in the middle school, the drill team, we just have the drill team aspect of it. But we haven't had one parent, when we explain to them what the program is, say, oh, I don't want my child in that. Right. Most of the time they'll turn to their child and say, oh yeah, you need
You're
this.
in.
Yeah.
Okay, well this is very good, and I'm glad that the decision makers that be in Chester at the charter school where you are understood the assignment for our young people in Chester, and that you're making a difference.
Yes, and well, let me say that Chester Community Charter School is a unique school. We house right now, we have 4,200 students at our school. Out of that 4,200, 1,200 are from Philadelphia. So we have a mixture of students from around the region.
Wait a minute, let me hold that. We've got parents in Philadelphia who are taking their Philadelphia students to Chester, to the charter school where your program is run.
1,200 of them.
So that must mean they're pretty impressed with what's happening in the Chester School District?
Yes, but we also have a reputation at Chester Community Charter School. When children are put out of other schools, we'll embrace them. Because the bottom line is somebody has to teach our children, no matter what their behavior might be.
And you're seeing the turnaround, and that's the blessing. If people want to know more about Harambee Mya Child, want to learn more about Reverend Rocky Brown's website, is there a page that they can go to on social media?
Yes, you can go to my website, yourspiritualmotivation.com. Also, William Rocky Brown on Facebook, or you can go to chestercommunitycharter.org and .org and learn about the school, learn about Harambee Mya. Or they can call me directly at 215-480-5333. I know that's a risk of putting my number out there, but I found out when you Google my name, it comes up anyway.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Final thoughts that you would leave with our viewing audience to encourage parents, whether they have an opportunity to send their child to your program or wherever it is that they're sending their child to try to get them on track.
Let me say that our children are living in a world that we never thought about living in. Can you imagine being home in your house and you hear gunshots and your mother is screaming and hollering, telling you to get down, or you're in a situation where you hear children say, "Oh, they were shooting in my neighborhood, but I'm used to it." Our children are struggling and they need our support. One of the things that I realized that has happened in the last 2 years with the pandemic, it really hurt our children. Our children are behind when it comes to math, and they're extremely behind when it comes to reading. So I encourage parents, please spend more time helping your children learn how to read. One of the things that we've done and incorporated within our curriculum is we develop word searches. And the children seem to love word searches. That's a fun way for them to learn how to spell.
Yes.
Because you can't write unless you can spell.
Good point. Good point. I thank you for joining us again. We appreciate you so very much. As we wind down on this edition of News You Can Use, I just want to remind people we've got a primary election in Philadelphia. It's May 16th, 2013. The polls open at 7 a.m. They remain open until 8 p.m. We're going to be deciding on who's going to be the next mayor, who's going to be the next city controller, the sheriff, register of wills. We also have some judicial seats available. On common pleas court, there's 10 seats. On municipal court, there's 2 seats. We've got some ballot questions as well. It's going to be a busy time, but we encourage you, whatever you do, if you're 18 years of age or older, do the right thing on Election Day and be involved with the political process. Vote like your life depends on it, because really, it does. We thank you so much for joining us on this edition of News You Can Use. Everybody stay safe. Remember, life is fragile. Handle it with prayer.